Good, huh?
Yeah, you do. Hey guys, we're here with Proud Joe. How's it going, buddy?
Proud masculine.
Proud Masculine Joe. Yeah, I know I like to call you Proud Joe sometimes, but Proud Masculine Joe or Proud Masculine.
Yeah, doing great. How are you?
I am doing great. It's been a long week. I'm doing a lot of shows this week, so you're the first guest of the week, and yeah, it's fun. Just like talking about this stuff. So today we kind of wanted to talk to you like about like what defines a man, because there are many. You hear a lot of things about what defines men, and I think sometimes that can lead, make people confused about what defines masculinity or what is, defines someone, being a man. So I wanted to start. Why don't you get rolling on that? To you, what does it mean to be a man?
I don't know. In short, I guess you can say the burden of performance.
Mm-hmm.
There's characteristics that I think, honestly, being a man is you have a dick. I mean, that's all you really need to be considered a male, right? But I
Right.
mean, as far as like, what are you, provider, protector, producer? Um, there's a lot of different characteristics that you can stamp on that. And I think,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion, you go to the burden of performance, the burden of accepting the fact that you're in this world to produce and perform. And that's expected. And it shouldn't be looked at as from like feeling sorry for yourself. Like, that's not fair. I have to produce and I have to provide. Well, there's a lot of privilege. There's a lot of upside that comes with that. The fact that you're
Mm-hmm.
a man. And,
Mm-hmm.
especially today, I think it needs to be known that you being a man and having masculine characteristics and taking on a masculine role in your family and wanting to be an aggressive leader and overcome obstacles and succeed and, make things happen and commit and have purpose and drive and ambition and aggression. Like, this is all favorable things. This is all favorable things within a man. And I'm sure there's going to be people out there that'll, find something to run with, like aggressive. I don't mean you aggressively, like you're aggressive with people in line who bump into you at the grocery and you don't get aggressive. That's not what I mean. There is aggression exists in men for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And to make it as a man in this world, to make it, first off, you got to be ready to perform. You have to be ready to step up and perform, whether it's a job, in a relationship, a friendship, even in a social setting, in anything you're a part of, you're going to be expected to perform.
Mm-hmm.
Team environment, what have you. Even if you're a solo kind of guy, you're going to have to perform to get where you want and what you want out of life.
So you kind of like so that when you mean before you mean like going out there and actually going taking action in your life, and
Yes,
rather
taking the
than
action.
not taking action, so just going out there and making it happen for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Very good, very well put. Because as a man, you're expected to produce and provide, and protect, and there's all these things that you have this expectation of. And there's the old saying, women are born and men are made.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one glaring deficit you see with men these days. And and a lot of men and women both are now raised in single parent homes.
Mm-hmm.
Most oftentimes that single parent is the mother. And you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm listening.
What the hell happened? Okay. And what the expectation is a woman, even though she may be trying her best to help this young man, they can't identify with the burden of performance to be able to instill this in a young man. Young men need masculine role models. They need some genuine, authentic, masculine role model in their lives to look up to base and model the behavior and to see what that looks like. And the burden. And so in a context of a relationship, as the male figure, there's an expectation there of you to provide and meet certain criteria to get love, affection, attention, and loyalty from this other person. Now,
Mhm.
again, something that shouldn't be misconstrued. I don't mean if you don't have if you don't make $250,000 a year, that this person isn't going to be loyal to you. That's not what I mean at all. But there is an expectation of you to be a decision maker, a provider. You have to be the emotional center, a rock, so to speak,
Mhm.
in that relationship. You got to make the hard decisions.
So the
And
guy you're saying the guy has to lead, take charge, and he's got to be emotionally strong and have control over his emotions when he's
yes,
in that relationship. Because it's the feminine that's is out of control, and the masculine is in control. And
yeah, well, yeah,
he can put that together. Like he can calm the feminine energy, as you were
yeah.
saying.
But with that is the burden of performance of that you have to do that day in, day out, no breaks, with no expectation of. Uh, Now, ideally, in a healthy relationship and a healthy woman, you're going to get encouraged and you're going to get support and praise, and that's the way it should be. But it's not going to be like you think. It's not going to be constant, pats on the back, sixth place trophies, and all. This is why young men coming up now so misled and unable to handle stress and pressure and rejection and failure. And there's got to be a certain amount of grit that goes with that
So
because
like mental toughness, then that kind of
yeah,
will help men kind of deal with the challenges that lay ahead. Because I know I noticed that without mental toughness, like a guy is usually going to give up and
oh,
not
absolutely,
move forward. And I think that's really important. That is a good trait, a good how should I say psychological trait of guys is to have that mental toughness. And we're not just talking about combat, but talking about the willingness to kind of go out there and make things happen like we were talking about earlier, but yet deal with the struggles because nothing in life is easy. And
and
we always, as men, we always face different challenges in our lives that we got to be mentally tough to, in order to achieve those challenges. Because if we're not mentally tough, then we are just going to give up.
yeah, and so with those things that I just listed about what it takes to be something, have quality of life, successful relationships, business, whatever. There's also so uh, with that comes the the stresses and the weight of bearing that burden of performance.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a certain amount that you're going to be expected to deal with on your own to be able to work your way through stuff, think your way through things, battle through laziness and uncertainty, unfavorable conditions, whether at work, relationship, with a child, anything you may come against, you're going to be
Yeah.
expected of that. But there's also really important, and I think this isn't said enough, is that you have a tribe of like-minded men who are there to kind of pick you up a little bit. You need a place to go talk about these things. You need a place to fucking release and talk
Yeah,
about things too.
exactly.
But
Exactly.
and your home into the person and people who you protect, their ear is not the place to do that. They don't need to hear your complaining. They don't need to hear your stresses. Now, on the surface, there's a proper way to convey unfavorable conditions or outcome. That, say, for instance, you had a tough day at work, you're just dealing with this real shithead of a boss or something, or a team that won't budge on a great idea and they're just being stubborn and egotistical, and it's stressing you out. You're a little disconnected. The stress is obviously getting to you. You're with somebody who can read you like a book and they know something's off.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go complaining, well, man, my boss won't leave me alone and he's riding me, he never stops, and I don't know what to do, and I'm just stressed out. No, that's not how you complain. That's not, it's not acceptable. You can't do that. Now, me and you can get off and we'll get on a Zoom call and I can tell you, man, things have not been going my way lately. And you're like, yeah, well, that sucks. I went through this and this, but I've seen you outperform, your bad times. So just hang in there, keep going. Shit happens.
Right.
And then it gets to a point where we could throw a little humor in and suck it the fuck up. Don't be a pussy. Dry your vagina, whatever. We laugh it out. But, I know it comes from a place of love. We support one another. And, hey, if you need anything, I'm always here. Just hearing that. Now, if you got to do that at home, if your wife is like, what's wrong? What's wrong? Something's off. Tell me. It's like, yeah, just some stuff come up, work with the boss. And then you offer solutions. Like, but here's what I'm doing. Tomorrow when we walk in, we already got a meeting set up. We're going to hammer it out tomorrow. It's not a huge issue. I'm sure we'll work it out tomorrow. You never leave under the impression that you're so broken and defeated that there's nothing you can do. You don't have a plan B, or you don't know the next step. And honestly, you should have some inclination and idea of what you do to overcome and resolve the problem. And if
exactly.
Not,
well said. Very well said.
That's why you have this tribe of men, quality men, who you identify with, who have in some ways outperformed you. I've been through the situation you've been through, and be able to have like a sounding board or somebody to bounce this off of to help you put it in perspective.
Yeah, I got to say something. No, that's true, because like I got a mentor that I work with too, and when I face challenges, sure, I try to work out ideas on my own, but the mentor always reminds me that I've been through tough times before, and you can kick ass again and shit. And then the mentor just helps me develop better ideas to kind of move forward. So what you're saying is really good, and I definitely would say that is a good thing for guys to do. Is try to figure out how to overcome challenges on your own, kind of sit down and reflect, but yet be around a group of like-minded men, or have a mentor like-minded, who has been there and done that before, so he can help push you on the path towards success. And that's always been when I've been working a lot. Basically, when I first got into mentoring, I wanted to get good with women. Okay. And, I had a lot of successes and I had a lot of failures, but, and I'd go to my mentor, and then the mentor would listen to me and, provide me with some of the, remind me that I've had success before, because I get, sometimes get frustrated, and then provide me with the information to move past some of my sticking points.
Exactly. And I have somebody that I run my shit uphill to. Everybody has it. And the guy that I run my shit uphill to, he has a guy that he runs his shit uphill to. Nobody sits there and creates every original thought and idea on their own. It originated somewhere a long time ago, and chances are, and this is another misconception, that you have to go it alone and figure it out. And because for a long time, I had the propensity, and I still do, I got to be very careful I don't do this, because it's so embedded in me, to withdraw from everybody, because I'm a little overwhelmed and I'm kind of ashamed. Maybe I'm just not proud of the way I'm handling it, or I'm a little ashamed of my reaction to not being able to solve the problem, that I'll withdraw and not tell anybody, even my most trusted friends that I look up to, and they look up to me, and we compliment each other, and we're always there to help each other. I might feel a little foolish in the moment about wanting to go tell these people, like, hey, I can't figure this out. This is really affecting me. I'm stressed the fuck out, or whatever the case may be. And, that's a myth, that you're not meant to go it alone. I mean, obviously, if I were having trouble with trying to figure out how to unfuck something on my website, I wouldn't call a plumber. I'd call you, right?
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? You're the guy. So
right.
I'm not saying just go air your shit out to just anybody. That's why I say a trusted group of quality, like-minded men. And every person out there, every influence, guide, coach, mentor, they've got mentors and guides that they've learned from too.
Yeah, exactly. That's how
and not to mention, when you're bogged down and overwhelmed with the situation and you're in it, like you got your blinders on, It's that forest through the trees syndrome. Like sometimes you just can't see it because you're too goddamn close to the issue or to the emotion, and you're clouded. You're not going to make a sound decision. And sometimes it's best to not even bog yourself down, expending the energy and brain power to get in the weeds with trying to, but actually being humble enough and knowing that, okay, this has gotten me to a point where I'm at a standstill, which is even more destructive than making a wrong decision, is to go out there and be humble enough to ask the next guy. Show a little bit of vulnerability, because I guarantee you, if there's something you're stuck with, been going through, having a hard time with, if you've got it going on and you have the question, there's tons of other people who have the same question who are afraid to ask it or have been through it, and to be more than willing to lend a hand and help you and bring you into their space to say, hey, here's what happened to me. Here's how I dealt with it. Give that a shot.
No, and see, I think a lot of guys like it, because I was there at one point. Like, I did think I can do everything on my own. I let my ego kind of get in the way of everything. I'm like, I don't need anyone. I can do it.
Ego happens too.
Yeah, and you're gonna have, and I think you're gonna have those aha moments where it's like, okay, shit, man. Okay, I'm trying to talk to women, still getting no results. I'm trying to work on this business venture, still getting no results. I'm still trying to learn like website building or do fitness. I'm still not getting results. And I like it. And when what I realized is I had to let go of my ego and invest in myself, because when you have a mentor who's been there, like the mentors are like the best teachers ever, like, because they can. Not, you're right. They can look into, like, listen to what you are saying. They've been where you have been, and so they can actually guide you in the right direction. And then, but you got to be willing to break, have a how should I say it, a growth mindset too, because because a lot of people will go through mentoring. I think another good thing of developing into a confident guy is having a growth mindset. Because it's like, if you just come from a fixed mindset and you don't are open to trying new things that the mentor is teaching you, then that's not going to work out.
Well, some people go to mentors and run things uphill. I mean, they have the best intentions and they want to see change. They want to see tangible change. They want to see a change within them. A lot of people going out there looking for comfort. They just want to be coddled. They want to be paid attention to and talked to. And so within that mentorship and that quality group and those stuck situations, you have to have the willingness and the discipline to take the action, and the trust in that person that is the right action to take. And that means they may give you a really simple solution that you don't quite understand or agree with, but doing it anyway. Kind of based on trust and faith that it's going to work out the way it's supposed to. You don't have to like it. You don't have to agree with it, but you got to be willing to do it.
Right, exactly. And I think, you got to be able to, listen to what your mentor says. And like a good mentor is going to encourage you to break out of your comfort zone and, call you out on your shit. Like if you're a guy and you're just continue on doing the same shit, a good mentor is going to call you out on that. And
absolutely,
I think that's an important thing as being growth. I think another thing, another thing that makes a good guy is this kind of being open to what other people's criticism, to help you grow as an individual. Because you want all this success in your life, you're gonna have to. You got a bunch of bullshit that's from your past that's holding you back, and all these mindsets and shit. And you got to be able to work through all that stuff. And you got to take suggestions from other people, and you're kind of like, oh, I don't know. You got to have the guts, like you were saying. It takes guts to go out there and do it. Because if you take the guts and show that you really want to do it.
Well, and it all boils down to brutal honesty, and that's the same characteristics in a mentor. You want somebody who's going to tell you how it is, cut through the shit, call you on your bullshit. You want your boys, you want your close inner circle, your fucking tribe to be able to do the same. And you want people that are going to be compassionate but firm. Okay, say you had a breakup and It's going on like 4 months and you still whining. Somebody's got to step up and say, dude, that's enough of this shit. Like, we've all given you great actionable advice. You're not listening. It seems like you're inviting this fucking drama and torture into yourself. Like, if you're not going to do anything about it, I don't want to hear anything else about it. It's time to man the fuck up. It's time to do something. And you know what to do. We're giving you the tools. It's time to take the step. It's time to take the action. You need people like that. You need people when you're making excuses for yourself of why you can't do this or why you can't do that, to tell you that's a fucking excuse. You're not getting any bigger because you don't go to the gym. You get fat because you sit around and eat shit and you're too lazy. Like, you need people like that. But to tell you, and then to tell you from a place of love, but just be honest with you. And then the other side is, as what you just mentioned, having the ability to take that honesty, which could appear to be as critical or criticism, and listen to it for what it is, and not take it personal, not let your feelings cloud it and get in the way of the message.
Right, because a man can control his feelings, and not let he'd be able to take any message in with an open mind and be able to try it.
Yeah, and about the whole feelings and emotions thing, that doesn't mean you're a cold fucking calculated robot all the time. It means is you don't react and make really important decisions based on your feelings. We don't react based on our feelings. So it's about being non-reactive, emotionally centered, emotionally mature, having emotional acuity, and being able to keep that shit in check. I'm not saying you can't have feelings. You can't feel feelings. You can't be upset, sad, happy, angry, frustrated. That's all perfectly normal. What you can't do is buy into it and react. Your emotions are there to tell you there's a change that needs to be made. Something's out of alignment.
Right, that's true.
It's not there for you to say, okay, you don't like the way this feels, don't do it. That's not what it's for. Or you're angry, lash out. Or, you're triggered, fucking lash out. So that's and that goes hand in hand with what you just said. Like, you got to be able to take some criticism, because if you want to get to the point of something, you want to cut through the shit and just get to the point, which is being direct, is a masculine trait, a characteristic, a quality, I'd say.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Yeah,
being direct and being able to be direct with, I don't know how the fuck you say that. So, like, when I ask Robert, what do you think? How do you think my website looks? Dude, it looks like a fucking 5-year-old did it. Now, you don't have to say that, but you can say, no, that's not a good look. And if I get hurt, like, what do you mean it ain't a good look? I did this and this. I sat here for 3 hours getting this little page right, and you're like, well, it's right. Just not it. If I get offended and defensive, how are we going to move on to the next step? How are we going to fix that? How are we going to come to a solution for me to improve this page, this situation? How are we going to improve?
That's right, man. And if you let your feelings like get in the way of some, as guys, we're just here when someone's just being direct with you about what they think about. They're not trying to like be an asshole or anything, and you can't like be hurt by that. You got to be able to just take the criticism and move forward. Because I always found too, like, I used to fucking hate criticism at first, but I realized that got me strong. Like, I learned, that's how I became, kind of mastered some of the stuff I did, was just taking feedback from others, especially my mentors. And so you just got to learn to look at it in a different perspective. Once you look at it in a different perspective, you will see things in yourself that you'd be like, holy shit, this person is right about me. I is right. I can't, like you're saying, the website example. My website's horrible. I need to improve upon it. Or like, I, kind of too, maybe I am like, not taking action. Hey, it's true. And that's the reason why I'm not getting success. It's in the end, it all falls back onto you. And just being able to accept that and have the discipline to like use that feedback, go out there and take action. Joe, I think you froze here, buddy. They just give me like a little stare here into the camera. Yeah, he froze here, guys. So he'll probably come back on. Let me get rid of the banner here. Brand. But yeah, guys, we'll wait for Joe to come back on here. But no, that's like as a guy, you gotta be willing to, just accept the criticism, like learn from it and move forward. You just can't get all upset when someone is, giving you their honest feedback, because like if you're gonna be upset, then you're not gonna move to the next point, and that is important. That's what I've always learned too. Is like I mentioned before, Joe froze there. He had the weird freeze stare on there. But I've always learned that you got it. Like at first, like taking feedback sucks. Sometimes the truth like really hurts. But as a guy, you just gotta suck it all up and take the truth from someone. Like and that's what I've learned from a lot of my mentors. Because they have pointed out things about me that I was kind of lacking on and not taking action on in my life. And that really kind of helped me had those aha moments where I could say to myself, well, hey, yeah, I'm not getting this because I'm not putting in the effort here, or I'm not putting it. My mentor said, well, go talk to like 20 women a week, and I'm not doing maybe I'm not getting any success because I'm not going out there and taking the action. So a good mentor can call you out on that and just make sure you're doing the right stuff. And that's a good and that's another masculine trait, is just being able to go out there and follow through with stuff. Because like there's a lot of pressure and stuff, like kind of going out there and breaking out of your comfort zone, and you need to like be able just to like put your emotions in check, just to take that action. Well, hey Joe, I'm glad you're back here for a second.
I don't know what the hell happened.
Yeah, you had this like
I looked down and realized
you had this like stare like that, but that's good back. I was just kind of, telling people like that, no, you when you take your feedback from your mentor, you gotta, they call you on your shit and you gotta accept it. And then they're just trying to help you realize that it's you that's not, developing the right discipline to go out there and make whatever it is you want for your life. And, you gotta
and here's another thing. There's another thing is accountability. You got to be accountable. You got to hold yourself accountable for everything. Everything. You got to be 100% accountable for the outcomes, the unfavorable shit. If you want to move toward a solution, because and that's another thing a good mentor and a good tight knit group of men won't allow you to do is jump and throw this big pity party for yourself and make yourself a victim of a circumstance or an outcome.
Yeah, men aren't that's another masculine trait. Men don't look at themselves as victims. They don't, they kind of look at everything as like a learning experience and a process.
And look, there may be shit that happens outside of your control, but after the fact, no matter how it goes down, after it does happen, there's things you can do to move away from that, to move to let's say something happened to you in childhood. Are you fucking responsible for that? No, there's nothing you could have done then.
Right, that's true.
But it gets to a point when you're aware of what the flaw or the whatever needs to be corrected. Once you're aware of that, it's your responsibility. You're accountable now to make it happen. You're accountable. You're no longer a victim of that circumstance. Now you're the one in charge of fixing it. Now you're the leader. You're leading the charge, and you're you're participating in your own rescue. You know what I'm saying? Because
and as a man, you got to take control of your life and take lead. That's another. We were talking about that. I think we mentioned being a leader, and I think leadership is an important, not just with women, but in your own life. You taking charge of your life and determining what you're going to create for yourself, and how you're going to feel about this certain circumstances that you happen to come across in the outside world. As a guy, as men, we have that power once we can develop that discipline to control the outcome of our life. And we can't control everything, but we can choose to control how we're going to react towards certain events.
Exactly. You can definitely control your reaction.
And and that takes a lot of discipline right there. But I think that leadership, I think, is like a top quality in guys because you can use pride in so many different ways.
Well, that comes with the burden of performance. You got a family to look after. You got kids and shit looking up to you. You're leading. You don't get to go ask the kids what to do about, a short check, or like if there's a certain, say you want to go buy a truck, you don't go ask the kid, hey, you think it's a good idea if I buy a new truck right now? No, it's not how it works. And these people need to feel comfortable in your leadership, in your strength, that they come to you, and that they feel safe and protected and well and soundly led.
Right, exactly.
Part of the burden of performance. You got to make the hard decisions sometimes. You got to be the one to say no sometimes. Sometimes you got to be the bad guy.
Right, and I think the burden, being able to have that burden of performance and take responsibility for that and lead that the outcomes or whatever happens, that shows people that you are a confident guy and you can have confidence in yourself. Just like going out there and just fucking doing, man. I mean, that's all it takes. But it's a discipline. I can say, go out there and do, have, but it's a discipline to actually develop all this.
It is. It's commitment and discipline.
But once you can learn to have that, mastery over it, you can like have the control and your life, and go out there, take the necessary action, deal with the challenges and the responsibilities that come about with those challenges.
Yeah. And it's there's other things, self-respect, integrity, because you taking on a burden of performance. It's your job to take on all these things that I listed earlier, and that doesn't equate to you being a yes man and a doormat, like bowing down to every whim, because you have to take on every single solitary thing. Part of the burden of performance of being a leader is delegating. Recognizing your strengths and weaknesses. What's more beneficial for you to expend your time and energy on, rather than what could be more efficiently taken care of by somebody else.
Right. I do that with my business. Like, there's certain things when it comes to like web development that I don't know, or, marketing that maybe I just don't have the time for. And I learned that it's always best to delegate that, because it just makes it a lot easier for me, because I'm doing a lot right now. And just being able to delegate certain tasks just makes it easy for me to get stuff done for my web design business. So I know what you're talking about. Delegation, that's an important task. That is very good.
It's necessary. Like, look at Elon Musk. He said something to the effect of, he doesn't know how to build rocket ships, but he knows how to hire, the top engineers on the planet who do know how to build these rocket ships. You know what I mean? And that's just part of leading, is the ability to delegate, the ability to recognize that maybe somebody's stronger in an area than you.
And again, that all comes to, to the ego again, just putting your ego in check. Because I think a lot of us think that, well, we can just do it all, and we can't. We got to have that realization. As a guy, you got to realize, look into yourself, and realize, okay, what are my strengths and what are my weaknesses? What stuff can I delegate to others? What other stuff can I get help with, so I can grow stronger in certain areas? And it all comes to this kind of letting go of the ego.
Yeah, and the ego has its purpose, but it's an ego, run riot in your life is just a path for destruction quickly. And so, with all this being said, all these things being thrown, that's a lot of shit to take in that we just said. It's a process. You're always learning. You're always open. You're always aware. There's going to be mistakes. You're going to have mistakes to learn from, and being able to view your mistakes as lessons and learning opportunities and not failures. Not a complete, not a total failure for you to throw in the towel, but just an opportunity to go back at it and do something different, something better, take it from a different approach.
Right, exactly. And in my book, like I mentioned something about that, being persistent and everything, because I think when you being persistent not only like shows mental toughness, but it helps you to develop creative ideas to take a different approach towards something. That's what I've always learned. Like, I get shot down, but I always try to figure out a different way to actually achieve a goal or a different action to take next time.
That's it. And that's how that's how the best, the brightest, the most successful, strongest, all that's how they get there.
Mm-hmm.
Is remaining persistent and keep attacking. Because it's not a matter of if, but when you slip up, when you make a mistake, when you have a failure, when you have a backslide. It's not a matter of if, but when.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not, and it's, you can put you can rewind this back and go look at a bunch of stuff, mental toughness, having that grit, being open-minded enough to be able to hear what the solution is, being able to brutally honest, look at where you fucked up and fell short, what you need to do better. What do you need? All these things come into play.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's a process. It's definitely a process. And then you apply that to everything you do in life. Like you said, with pickup, how many times do you get shot down?
Mm-hmm.
How many times you get fucking blown out? And does that mean you stop? Does that mean you don't go back next Sunday, next Saturday night and try again? No.
You just keep on going.
With a different approach. Now, you don't keep using the same thing that ain't working over and over again, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. No, and the same thing I did, it's weird, not just with women, but, so I learned to apply that, when I was learning that with trying to get good with women, I also applied that to making like cold writing cold emails for my web design businesses.
Mm-hmm.
I maybe sent out like 100, but I actually, the more I kept at it, and I finally got, some clients who paid like a big price for like a website, but I would never have done that if I just had given up. And and every time too, when I was learning, as I was going through the process of sending out cold emails, I always tried to figure out a way to perfect that.
And there's a key thing I want to grab out of what you just said, and that's giving up. Now, most oftentimes, and I think you can agree with me on this, just when you think it's not going to work, and you just do that little bit more, just when you've lost, when you're starting that nasty little fucking asshole in your head's popping up saying, this ain't working. This is not working. You're not going nowhere. You sent out 100 cold emails. Nobody's answering you. Nobody's paying attention. Your skills ain't worth a shit. All these little things start creeping up.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually right on the other side of that is when you have that victory, when you have that result from all that work, that lagging effect of work, then result. Work,
Mm-hmm.
mistake, fail, rejection, no response, no callback, no thank you, all this, just enough to where you're just about to throw the towel in. And that's what happens most oftentimes is people do give up at that point. They don't hang in for that little bit longer, just that little bit longer to get to see, what that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Give in. And that's
that's true. That's why you just keep at it.
You didn't give up, and you kept going, and you kept going, and just when you think you're getting discouraged, like, oh, this shit, nobody's responding, but I'm gonna keep doing it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And refining it, and tweaking it as you go along, and boom, there you go. Now look at you. Now you're turning down work.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But yeah, it's just like like I said, it's just that's why I've learned. Yeah, and even when I'm being persistent, I get frustrated. But I have strategies I use just to deal with it, so I can continue to push forward. Because but I learned, I learned to develop like certain things to kind of like, okay, maybe take a little break, and then go back to it, and that's kind of helped. So when you develop like strategies when you're, facing some challenges and stuff, it's a good way to just find other ways, strategies to cope with it, like maybe take a break, just like, okay, assess things, see what can you do differently, and just go back to it, because sometimes it can be like there's always that one big challenge out there that can just be like very dreadful, and you just gotta, it might take some time to chip away, and you can't give up on that.
Resolve, persistence, grit. You see, it all comes back to this shit, and this whole conversation, all this shit we going all over about, that's what being a man looks like to me. And
yeah, right on. But is it, we got to get going. Unfortunately, we can't do a long show today because I just got some stuff I got to do. But I just wanted to give you like before we end the show, like what you have to sum up anything on your traits that make a man or what makes a man.
I think we said enough. There's a lot in there.
Mm-hmm.
Resilience, grit, emotional control, non-reactivity, being responsive, not reactive, problem solving, iron will, humility, all these things.
Right. No, and I agree with you. Yeah, we said a lot. Well,
real quick, I left out one of my most important that I preach, just about anybody. And like, even when, I do a coaching call with people, and I say coaching call, I don't even like the word coach, but I say it. Mm-hmm. I think of myself as more of a guide than a coach.
Right.
But anyway,
guide, yeah.
Leading them and guiding them through, say, a bad breakup, and these guys are trying to find their way again. I start always the springboard into these, these results begins with me, the physical. Being strong, having your body in check, your health, diet, your sleep, health, strength, sleep, diet. You're lifting, you're sleeping, you're eating clean. That's also physical fucking strength.
Yeah, that's right. Just taking care of yourself, mental toughness, your attitude towards life in general, eating healthy. Mm-hmm. It all like kind of, what's the word? It compounds,
It's all symbiotic. Is that the word?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it all kind of blends. Yeah, that's a good word. Well, Joe, where can they find you if they want to go find you on YouTube? I put the subscribe thing. You'll see where to find Proud Masculine. And where's your website?
ProudMasciline.com to arrange a call. ProudMasciline.com pricing. Go down to the pricing tab, click, book a call, book a time slot. Also, Instagram at Proud Masculine and YouTube Proud Masculine. Real easy, Proud Masculine.
Yeah, it's very simple. I'll put the link to your website in later on when I go to edit the video. Like, it's not gonna, when it uploads to the YouTube, I'll definitely put it in there so people can find that. And yeah, it sounds good, guys. And thank you very much for joining the show. And you be sure to like the video and share with your friends if you liked it. And I got, like I said, you can go to my website, Command Your Confidence, where you can book coaching. I also will put in the description the link to my my ebook or paperback book if you wanted to check that out. That's a really good book. I have 5 pillars of self-confidence that's going to help you succeed in life. And yeah, be sure to tune in this Wednesday. I'll be on at around 6:30 Mountain Standard Time, 8:30 Eastern Time, 5:30 Pacific Time with Ed Latmore, author of Loving Yourself is a Superpower. He also was a former boxer. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then we got the Alpha Mindset show going on this Saturday with Afi Kingdom, Sophisticated Man. And Coach Justin might join as long as Joe will join as well. So, oh wait, let's say hi to Mark Daniels. Remember Mark? Hey Mark, how's it going, man? I see your show. I'm just picking up my daughter.
Mark, solid dude.
Rock on, Mark. Hey Mark, I'm gonna be in touch with you soon. I want to do another discussion with you. Also, I'd like, I'm doing a panel discussion next month, and I'd like for you to be a part of the panel discussion that I do on Saturday. I'll keep you posted, and I also look forward to going on your show next month. I think we talked about the 5th of March, but I'll be in touch soon. Thanks, Mark. All right, guys. Well, it was awesome being here, and Joe and I will be back with you again next month, and Joe will also be a part of the panel discussion that I'm going to be doing. So definitely be sure to check that out. And we just look forward to giving you guys some kick-ass advice so you can level up in life. And yeah.